Hello class, welcome to section 9.5. This section is on two things, amortization, and then in a broader sense on the one of the types of problems I'd like to do is mortgage problems or even loan problems. It could be mortgages, that's the most common one, or like a car loan. So amortization, if you're not familiar, is paying off a loan over a period of time. This is another way of saying this, or more specific, the process of it. And amortization schedule, I'll get it eventually, is a list of payments over the loan period. Now, the present value of an annuity is knowing the amount one can borrow for a loan based on calculated payments. So annuities are commonly used for these loans. And as I said, one of the more common ones is a mortgage. So a couple definitions on that front. Mortgage, of course, is a long-term loan, typically used for houses. So the main types are a fixed-rate mortgage, where the rate is constant throughout the period. An adjustable rate or a variable rate is where the loan changes. The rate changes throughout, which is used typically for buyers with low credit or low down payments. The idea being that you pay less interest for a few years on the agreement that in the years after that you'll pay more interest than you normally would to make up for it. Typically this is done when the buyer says, well, I'm expecting to get a raise or I'm expecting a promotion pretty soon, but I'd like to get this house now. Obviously it comes with its own risks, but if done right, it has its own use. Escrow is used by a lender to pay real estate taxes, put in a separate account. Usually done when there's the minimal down payment is made and the lender would like some more security. Points is 1% of the loan amount. As I said, loan, that's the value of the thing that you're buying. Often add to payments when the down payment is low again, or it's a high-risk loan. So for a house, for example, points are added when, again, the person buying, the loaner, the person getting the loan, can make only the minimum of payments, and the lender considers this to be maybe a little bit of a risk. So just for security, they ask them to pay some points. Closing costs, when it comes to mortgages, for example, are obviously costs paid at closing time, usually legal fees. And they range anywhere from maybe $6,000 to $9,000, somewhere in that vicinity. It depends really on the state you're in, who your lender is, and the person selling. Interest-only loan, which we'll look at interest in a minute, is a loan where monthly payments go only towards interest. So let's look at some examples. First of all, and before I even get to this formula, which is actually a little bit different than what the book prescribes, and I'll explain why. Let's look at amortization. When it comes to paying back a loan, for example, there's a certain amount that goes towards interest and a certain amount that goes towards principal. Let's say that you have a loan for, I don't know. Let's say you have let's get a $20,000 loan. So we have a $20,000 loan, and we'll go over how that's figured out, but after figuring out the monthly payments, let's say that it's for say it's a car. Let's say your monthly payments are equal to, let's say $250. And your interest rate is, let's say, your interest rate is, let's say, 5%. Yearly. So what this means is that in a year, the interest that you have to pay on this loan, because the bank's got to make money too. Assume it's a bank. It's going to be $1,000. Which, when I divide it monthly, is about $83.33, approximately. So what this means is that this is the way amortization works, and particularly amortization schedules. Amortization schedule lays out, especially if you have a car loan or house loan in particular, lays out what your payments will be each month, and then how much of that goes towards principal, how much goes towards interest. And you know what, let's make this a little more poignant. So I'm going to say $150 is my monthly payment. Because usually, and this is the truth, interest is very high early on. This will help illustrate that. So let's break down into monthly payments, and this will show how much is owed. If I start out with $20,000. First monthly payment is $150. And in fact, let me label these. I'm going to break these down here. So now the first month payment is still $150. Now the interest of that payment, in other words, how much goes towards interest? Let's make that clear. Towards interest. So of that $150, how much goes towards interest? And that is $83. Which means whatever's left over is what you're actually paying off the loan with. Because you always pay interest first, the way loans work. Because again, whoever you're lending from has to get paid. So if you're not familiar, this means that of that $150, 83 goes towards interest, which means you have left over $66.67. So let's see if I have room for this. See if we can squeeze all this in here. Get it nice and bunched up. Alright, that looks a little better. So again, we have 60, see, I already forgot it, 66, 67. Now that 66, 67 is actually taken off principal, so that means now, instead of the 150 all coming off of principal, only the $66 does. So we're going to say now 20,000 minus 66.67. That means now we're left with 19,933 and 33 cents. Now we're still paying the next month payment. We're still paying $150. Again, of that amount, again, this payment, $83 goes towards interest. But now it's off of a smaller amount. So instead of off of $20,000, now it's off of $19,933. So now let's take times 5% of that. So now it's $83,500. Which means that now we get a little bit more towards our principal. So now 150 minus 83.05, and we get an extra, what is that, 20 cents towards principal, $66.95. Now that goes towards principal. So as you can see, each year, or actually each payment, our interest gets a little bit lower, and the money goes towards principal, whatever's left over gets a little bit higher. That's the idea of a loan. This is a very basic, what I have here, an amortization schedule, where I lay out each interest amount, each payment amount, and notice the payment is the same no matter what. Then the breakdown is what goes towards interest, what goes towards principal each time. Now, one of the more common equations we use is this one I've given to you here. How to calculate what that specific payment amount will be. Now I just gave you one just off the top of my head, one that would make a little bit of sense. Now if you notice in your book, if you look at it, on page 431 they give you a specific formula for finding payments on an amortized loan. Now they gave it's new to me. It's slightly modified. What they've done is it's used for it's more of a general one for purpose of comparisons. The one I'm giving you here is an equivalent one, and I tend to do like this one because it is really one formula versus two, and that's really what you have if you look at that formula. It's two functions versus one. And again, it's based on the same formula. If you would like, I can always show you how I arrived at the formula. It's based off the one in the book, and will always work. So I'm referred to as PMT, so our regular payments, whereas the principal is P is the loan amount, what we're starting with, N is the number of times that we pay this amount per year, so it's like compounding interest, R is the rate, and T is still years. So for example, you have a car loan for $11,500 and a loan for 60 months at 5.6% interest. What is the monthly payment? So again, using our formula. Here is, ooh, that's different. Let's move some of this out of the way. Let me see, it's let's move that out of the way. There we go. So let's put this back so we can seal it on it a bit nicer. Boom, there we go. Alright, again, here's our setup. $11,500 is the loan amount, 0.56%. 12 months. 12 is 9 times per year because it's compounded monthly or paid monthly. That's our N. T, you notice, is not 60. It's 60 months. T is in years. That's why it's 5 up here, not 60. Make sure when you do these problems, unless otherwise noted, you put your time in terms of years. Now here again, like the annuities, it's a matter of simplifying the problem. Let's see, I'll break it down. Keep doing the math, and I end up with $220.20. And here's another common question. Find the interest on the loan. So in other words, how much you pay in interest versus how much you pay in principal. In other words, how much did you actually pay how much did you pay on top of what you already were loaned? In other words, if you want to pay for $11,000 car. Obviously, you're paying more than that. So how much more is the question? That's what they mean by find the interest. To do that, we'll take our monthly payment times however many times we would have done it. In other words, since we're paying 60 times, in other words, there are 12 times, 5 years, 60 times over the course of 5 years. So if you pay that 60 times, that comes out to be $13,211. Remember, the loan amount is only for $11,500. So when you do the subtraction, that means you paid an interest of $1,711.67. So this is the amount paid in interest. So again, whatever the monthly or however many times per year that payment is, multiply by how many times you would have paid it over the entire loan, subtract from that the original loan amount, and that's the difference is your interest. Here's another one that I tend to ask. Want to buy a home at $395,000? You can put down 20% down payment and are able to secure a 30-year fixed 7.5% mortgage loan. The bank feel it with the current housing market, which is very true. They want more security and charge you 2 points. So what is the monthly payment? What is paid at closing? How much interest is paid? Now, if you're familiar with down payments, that's how you pay down at. That's for any loan what you pay at the time when you set up the agreement. It's kind of like upfront money. 20% of our original value is $79,000. So if you paid that, that means you only owe $316,000. So the loan amount, and especially with problems like this, don't confuse the loan amount with the actual value of whatever you're buying. The loan amount is for $316,000. We said points was 1% of the loan amount. So since it's 2 points, we'll say 2% of the loan amount of $316,000 is $63.20. So first, let's find our monthly payment, and using our formula we have here, the loan amount, the rate, and 12 times a year. And you do the math, and you get $2,209.52. So that's how much you pay a month. Now, total paid at closing. Remember, closing is everything paid at kind of like at settlement. So when the actual loan is set up. So that's the points, $63.20, and then the down payment, $79,000. So in this case, total paid at closing is $85,320. Now in this one, I haven't laid out closing costs. So I didn't say closing costs, so there's no need to worry about adding them. Usually in problems like these, especially with problems I make up, if I don't give you closing costs, then just don't worry about it. Interest. So just like before, we'll say whatever we paid monthly times. Now, if I'm paying for 30 years, 12 months a year, that's 360. Again, because 30 times 12 is 360. That's where I get that number from. 30 years, 12 months. So if I paid that 360 times, that's $795,426. That's a lot of money. And when I subtract my loan amount, not the original value, but the loan amount, you see I'm paying $479,000 in interest. So I'm paying more than what the house is worth in interest towards the bank. Then keep in mind, as we did with the amortization schedule, most of the money up front that you pay those first few years, and actually to hell, the first maybe about 10 years at least, maybe even 20, most of your monthly payment is going towards interest. Very little goes towards principal. And this is how banks make their money. And again, here's the example of the amortization. The interest for 1 month is $19.75. So from that $2,200 payment, $19.75 goes towards interest, which means now we have $234 towards principal. Like we did before, now our new balance is $315,000. Then we just recalculate. At month 2, the new value $315,000 times the interest rate divided by 12 is now it's $19.73 per month. and it's now $235 goes towards principal. So we're slowly breaking it down. And again, this is the way the amortization schedule works. This is the way interest works. This concludes section 9.5. As always, if you have any other questions, feel free to contact me.